Fine. So in the last session, we tested up to miscellaneous receipt. Now we'll see how to create the receipts by using the spreadsheet. We can create the receipts in spreadsheet through batch process. Okay. Creating receipts in spreadsheet, we can call as receipt batch also. We'll see. Go to receivables. Task is accounts receivable. Now we are in the receipt work area. Go to task pan. Your task name is create receipts in spreadsheet. Is ADFDA functionality. Open the spreadsheet. Click on enable editing. Connect. Provide login credentials. Escape. Please go on mute. Yeah. So select batch source. As a part of receivables basic setups, we created receipt source. That source we have to select here. Alt IMC, manual, batch name. Reality, this name is batch number as per system. So they given the field name as a batch name, but when you see the same field as per our instance, this would be batch number. So that is the reason I'm giving number only here. Method, how you receive the payment. Double click and select receipt method. Select bank account details. Alt IMC bank and branch account. Now, within this receipt batch, how many receipts you are going to enter, what would be the total amount that you can specify. The control count is total 2 receipts we want to create. The total amount is going to be 50,000. Once you start entering the receipts here, system will start counting and it will display the difference. Sequence number 1, receipt number, just giving as R1 receipt number. Receipt amount say $40,000. The receipt date, accounting date, the same date you can copy and paste. Take as accounting date. Currency we don't need to select at receipt level. Already batch level we provided. Same system will use. And provide customer information. Double click. Say OK. And select customer site details. Then create one more receipt. Here you can notice entered 140. Still the difference is one more we have to enter. The remaining amount is 10,000. Sequence 2. Receipt number say R2. 10,000. Copy the date. Copy customer details for second receipt also. So we created two receipts within this receipt batch. Now we have to import these receipts information into receivables. Here, click on create receipt batch. In the spreadsheet, there is a menu like create receipt batch and click on upload. Say okay. After uploading the receipts or after importing the receipts into receivables application, we have to perform the action called as posting. After posting these receipts, we'll be able to apply these receipts on any transaction. Here, refresh the page navigation, accounts receivable. Now filter all business units. Here you can select Alt INC only. So here is the batch which we created. There we given number or name as a 11, 22, 33, the same. Today only we created count to actual count also to 50,000. Select this receipt batch and post it. Say okay. Once it is posted, you don't see in this batch list. Refresh. So which are pending for posting, those receipt batches will be able to see in this page. Now it is not pending, it's posted. Now these receipts you can apply to any transaction. If you go to manage receipts, you can search with the batch number. Two receipts, R1 and R2. Two receipts are available, the 40 and the 10. So these receipts you can apply against the transaction. Okay, you can click on add open receivables. You can apply on outstanding transactions. This is all about a receipt batch functionality. Okay, you can reuse this template and you can just keep changing the data and you can load the receipts information from spreadsheet, which we call as batch process. Let's talk about.
Sir, one question.
Yeah, please.
When we do this posting, is it like posting to ledger, right?
No. Just we are keeping those receipts available to apply. That's all.
Okay, so this
Think
is not.
like those receipts before posting, it would be like kind of draft kind of status. Okay.
Okay.
We are finalizing those receipts to be available to apply on the transactions. Okay. This is not to posting to GL. Posting within the receivables itself. If you create receipt within the receivables, you don't need to create. It is coming from spreadsheet. That is the reason.
Mhm.
So you have to review those receipts. If everything is fine, then you will say post.
Okay, and
You
in
are
the spreadsheet,
confirming.
we don't have. Mhm.
Yes, you are confirming.
Okay, and sir, in the spreadsheet, we don't have the option to put the application as well, right? If we know the number.
No. Application.
Okay.
Application, if you are putting, what about posting then?
Right. Okay.
You
Yeah.
have to review. The information will
Mm-hmm.
come spreadsheet to application. Somebody should review. If everything is fine, that can be posted.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah. So now let's talk about receipt reversal. Okay. Receipt reversal. Say we created a transaction with $10,000 and we created a receipt with 10,000 and we applied that receipt on the transaction. Now the transaction balance will become zero. When you apply 10,000 transaction, 10,000 receipt and 10,000 transaction, the balance will become zero. Now you may send that receipt to the bank, nothing but check. So you received check from the customer and you create a receipt, you apply with the expectation of the check will be cleared, but check got bounced. So say remit. Remitting is nothing but sending the check to the bank for clearance. Okay, so you remitted. Once you remit the receipt, you got an update from the banker saying that the check got bounced. Now, the receipt, whatever you created and applied, you have to reverse it. How to reverse? When you reverse, this application need to be reversed. So when you create receipt and apply, this transaction will be closed. It closed, balance became zero. When you reverse this receipt, again this will reopen. It will become again outstanding 10,000. This is the one case. Other case is, so you create a transaction with the 10,000, you create a receipt with the 10,000, you applied the receipt on the same transaction, balance is zero, outstanding amount is zero. You remitted the receipt to bank, you submitted the check to the bank, and they put in the process of clearing, but check got bounced since no funds in the customer account, and you are going to reverse the receipt. When you reverse the receipt, you don't want to you don't want to reopen this transaction. Already it's closed because you applied, but now it's got bounced, check got bounced, you want to reverse it. You don't want to reopen. So in that case, you can create, whenever you reverse the receipt you are reversing with how much amount? 10,000. With the same amount, you can create one more transaction. Check you are reversing for how much amount? 10,000. You can create one more. So end result is same. You are reversing the receipt with the 10,000. With the 10,000, you are reopening the transaction. Whenever you reverse, here it will become 10 open. And here in this scenario, you are reversing the receipt, but you don't want to reopen. You want to keep this transaction is closed. You are reversing 10,000, you have to reopen the same amount customer has to pay. So you can reopen the transaction, or else you can open the separate transaction. In these two scenarios, end result is same. End result is we are reopening 10,000. Receipt we are reversing with the 10,000 with the same amount. We are reopening this. We can just name differently. One second. If you are following this process, we call as standard receipt reversal. It's a very much standard process. You applied, you reversed again the transaction is going to reopen. This we call as debit memo receipt reversal. Here, whatever system creates, that is debit memo. When you reverse the receipt, if you want to reopen, you reopen this, or else you can create the debit memo for those 10,000. So here 10,000 is open when you reverse. Here instead of opening here, with the debit memo you are reopening. The end result is same. Okay, this is the one which generally we use, but this is another option Oracle given, which we call as debit memo reversal. The same we'll see in the system so that it would be more clear. If any questions, we'll discuss. Yeah, we'll see in the system. First, we'll see standard receipt reversal. Create transaction with the 10,000, receipt with the 10,000, apply and reverse. We'll see the update. Create transaction with $10,000. Better open the multiple tabs. One for transaction, one for receipt. Another tab may be for configuration. Go to billing task list, create transaction, Provide customer details. $10,000. Complete and close. Transaction number is 1004. Now create receipt with 10,000. Double six, double six. 10,000. Select customer. Submit and apply. Click on add open receivables. 1004 is the transaction number. Find out. Select add and do. Click on that. Save it. Okay, now we applied the receipt on the transaction. Okay. Now you may send this receipt to bank. Okay, you will perform the remittance. We'll see the remittance. One of the concept we have to do as a mandatory. Now say you submitted this receipt to the check to bank and you got information the check got bounced. If you check the status, the balance status for this transaction, you will see it is closed.
Sir, it is 1004.
Yeah, it's 4 years. New balances 0 because we applied the receipt. Now we are going to reverse this receipt. Check got bounced and we are going to reverse this receipt. So reversal reason category, non-sufficient funds. Reason is same. If you want to write in comments, write. Say reverse. Okay, the receipt status is reversed. Now check this transaction balances. Reopen. Search. Click on transaction number. View balances. Now again it is reopen. Done. Now we'll test this case. Now we have a transaction with 10,000. Create receipt with 10,000 will apply. Again that will be closed. Let's create another receipt. Provide customer details. Apply this receipt on the same transaction. Now transaction outstanding is 10. Original amount, balance, both are same. Done. Say we submitted this check to the bank and check got bounced and we want to reverse it. Now you check the status of this transaction. Zero, because we applied receipt. Now we are going to reverse this receipt. Reverse. So select reversal reason. And when we reverse the receipt, system will reverse the application, but we don't want to reverse the application. We want to create new transaction with the reversal amount. So that means we want to create debit memo reversal. Enable debit memo reversal. So select debit memo transaction type. The same, when system would create debit memo also, it should use the receivables account only. So debit memo same as invoice transaction. Now click on reverse. If you check the status of this transaction balances, will remain as it is. That closed transaction will remain as a closed only. So it's not view accounting, view balances. So closed, but we reversed. Where it will impact? It will create separate debit memo transaction. We'll go and see that. We perform. Now system will create separate debit memo. Here we could see debit memo reversal. Debit memo reversal. So created with how much amount? 10,000. We select a transaction type and source. System will use system predefined source. With that source, system created debit memo reversal. Okay, debit memo reversal. Debit memo reversal for specific payment. Okay, this is what we have to understand. Receipt reversal. When you reverse the receipt, you may follow the standard receipt reversal process. Once you reverse, system will reopen the transaction. If you don't want to reopen, you can use the debit memo receipt reversal. It will reverse the receipt. Instead of reopening closed transaction, it will create new transaction. So that's all about debit memo reversal. Any questions here, please?
Sir, what is the purpose of the scenario except debit memo creation?
There is no scenario. There is no scenario. They given flexibility for these two. The first one is appropriate. The second one, it's more disconnected, and generally we don't use it. Okay.
Okay.
They have like these two options. Yeah.
The naming convention of debit memo receipt reversal is not sounding correct, though the functionality what you explained is correct.
One second. So debit memo already we have seen why we created, right? Instead of creating the transaction, we created debit memo to add some additional amounts, right? To add some additional amounts. Here, debit memo reversal, the naming convention, if you see, when you reverse the receipt, okay, the reversal with the reversal amount, you want to create one memo. That is a debit memo. Debit memo is always positive sign, which is equal to invoice transaction. That is the reason they give it.
I totally agree with that. It could have been. No, I'm not blaming you. I'm telling about Oracle. The receipt reversal dash DM should have been the right way instead of debit memo receipt reversal. It's not a debatable. This is my point.
Correct. They will have their answer. Unfortunately, we are not able to talk to them. Yeah. Okay,
Lakshmi,
yeah, please.
after create accounting post to GL, can we do reversal, receipt reversal?
Yeah, anytime you can do. When you do the reversal, it will update
Entries
again.
will-
For that, you have to create accounting entries. You have to transfer the GL. At any point of time, you can. That is
Oh, sure. Thank you.
fine.
No, but after reconciliation with the bank statement, we cannot do it, right? Again, you have to statement do all the process.
After reconciliation, see,
Yeah.
one second here, like when you are doing this, when your check is not clearing, that means it is not impacting your bank statement reconciliation. You received payment means that would get reconciled in the cash management also. Then ideally you don't do the reversal, right? When you do the reversal, when you are not receiving the payment, this will be pending for reconciliation also. The status will remain as a unreconciled. It's unreconciled customer payment as per bank statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you may do the any reconciliations, but situation is this: we have to do the reversal. So we are not getting the payment and the bank statement. As per bank statement, there won't be any line as a like a 10,000 check got cleared, and we are not going to do reconcile. This receipt is going to be unreconciled receipt. That is the reason we should do that.
Sir, if it's like a different scenario, like maybe it's been applied to a wrong customer and it's reconciled in C cash management, then in that case it's not possible, right?
You apply to the receipt, you
And
apply to wrong customer.
yeah, uh,
Wrong customer means, see, by default system won't allow you like to apply one
I mean
customer.
wrong transaction, not customer, wrong transaction.
No. For example, she's asking, natural account is wrong. Okay, for example, natural account is wrong. So they want to be receipt wrong receipt method. They apply created. Okay, so at the time, okay, after reconciliation, clear the receipt. Okay, so they want to be entirely unreconcile it, and again you have to reverse it, and it has to be. This is the process actually.
Okay. So you applied on the wrong transaction, already you performed the reconciliation. Reality, okay, the reconciliation is okay. Here within the receivables, the transaction adjustment is wrong,
Right.
right? That manually you have to go with some approach. Okay. But the
Hmm.
payment reality, yes, what you received and what you recorded in the system, both are matching.
Right, right.
Both are matching. So then how to go about whether that is okay? Since same customer, maybe transaction can be different. That you can get adjusted internally. Okay, that is okay. That is okay. Or else you can go to what you can do is you can go to cash management and whatever you reconcile, you are unreconciled. That is also possible.
Okay, so from it will become, I mean, change from cleared status to remitted status again.
Yes, you can unreconcile. It will
Okay,
show the
okay,
status from clear to unreconciled. Yes. Whenever
okay,
you
okay,
perform that action in the cash management, it will update the status according.
okay, fine.
How you want to manage that accordingly.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I will pick the topic called as netting. Fine. Say we have payables department, AP, and we have AR department, receivables department. As per our payables department, there is one invoice which is recorded against one supplier. The supplier name is some X corporation. As per our payables, we have to pay 5,000 to that X corporation. Okay. Let's say XX corporation. For XX corporation, we have to pay 5,000. as per our receivables, the same organization, the XX Corporation, is our customer also. Is our customer. XX Corporation should pay $25,000 to us. Now, we are dealing with an organization who is acting as a supplier and customer based on the business activities. So XX Corporation is acting as a supplier and customer. As per our payables, XX Corporation is our supplier. As per our receivables, XX Corporation is our customer. Now, how much we have to pay to XX Corporation? 5,000 we have to pay. Same time, XX Corporation should pay 25,000. So instead of going the traditional process, we pay and they will pay to us, we can do the settlement. We can talk to XX Corporation saying, I have to pay you to $5,000. The same time you have to pay $25,000. Instead of paying each other, let's settle it. How much amount we can settle here?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000 we can settle. We can settle, and remaining amount 20,000 XX Corporation will pay us. So this sort of scenario you can handle in the system with netting. Okay, we are going to net off the balances. We are going to net off the balances. So we are going to do the adjustment in the system. We are not going to pay with a real bank account. We are not going to receive with a real bank account. Within our system, we are going to do the settlement. For the settlement purpose, we use the dummy bank account. We are not going to pay 5,000, but we'll record in the system as we paid. We are not going to receive 5,000 from customer, but we'll record in the system as we received. The remaining amount we have to pay to whom? Accordingly, there will be action later. So this we call as APR netting, because between our payables and AR, we are doing the settlement. That is the reason we call as APR netting or APR settlement. Okay, to implement this solution, what setups are required? Ideally, there should be a supplier and customer with the same name as we discussed. So then other setups which will support to perform the settlement will go through those setups also. Okay. So let's see what setups we have to perform from system side to support this settlement. First, create customer. Name is XX Corporation. Create supplier. XX Corporation. And assign netting role. Okay, assign netting role to user. And how we are going to make the payment? By using the netting, by following the netting process. And we have to maintain netting payment method. So create netting payment method. So as for payables, when you make the payment, system will look for payment method. So we are not going to use any check or any other option. Directly we are going to do the settlement. For that, the method we have to use as a netting payment method. And we have to create document sequencing. Here we may not generate the numbering, but system will look for this setup. Otherwise, the process will fail. So let's make a note. We will just discuss that. So create document sequence category and the sequence. So where it is required, we will just come to know after doing the setups. Then finally, just we have to create the netting bank account. We have to create the dummy bank account. Here we are not going to pay 5,000 with our real bank account. Okay, settlement purpose, we have to create the dummy bank account. So create netting bank account. and create netting receipt class and method. So these are the basic setups we have to complete to perform the netting. So netting bank account is, these are the setups. After completing the setups, to simulate this APR netting, to test this APR netting, we'll just create transaction AP with the supplier called as XX Corporation with $5,000. And within the receivables, we will create transaction with the customer with $25,000. Creating these transactions, we have to create netting agreement. Means which parties are going to involve in the settlement. The same party, XX Corporation as a supplier as well as customer. And after creating that agreement, we have to perform the settlement. Okay. So we create the netting agreement. There we select the criteria. Who is going to involve in the settlement? We select the criteria. The same we will take into action. We will perform the netting settlement. Perform netting settlement. When you perform the netting settlement, automatically system will create payment with the 5,000 in AP, receipt with the 5,000 in the receivables. Okay, automatically system creates netting payment and netting receipts for the settlement. AP system creates netting payment with the 5,000. And within here, system creates netting receipt with 5,000. Okay. So in payables and receivables, system creates netting payment and receipt. So this is the process. Once you system will create this netting payment, netting receipt. If you go to payables, there won't be any outstanding. If you go to receivables, still 20,000 would be open. Later we may perform the netting, or else XX Corporation may make the payment of 20,000. You may create normal receipt and you may apply it.
There will be
So-
corresponding accounting entries also will create, correct?
Sorry?
Will there be any accounting entries for the netting process?
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll use the bank account, right?
Hmm.
Use the bank account instead of real bank account. It will be dummy bank account. We'll use the dummy cash. Yep. If it's a real,
Lakshman,
okay. If it is real, then there should be accounting entry as a cash is debit and the receivables credit.
Correct.
Since dummy cash account is debit and receivables credit. That's how it will be. Yep. Means received, not received. Dummy. Just to get adjusted things in the system to do the settlement.
Can we call it as a cash clearing?
Cash clearing, yeah, so automatically system will perform the clearing also. Once clearing takes place, what happens? We should get the cash, right? Yeah, that only system will represent. The cash account only it will use for those receipts. So in case of AP, it will take liability debit under the dummy cash account is credit. Here, dummy cash account is debit and receivables is credit. It's very simple. Instead
Okay.
of real account, dummy account it will use. That's all. Yep. If no questions, we'll go and see in the system.
Lakshman, opposite way also, AP side amount will be higher.
That is pretty
We
much
can-
fine. See here 25, here 5. Then how much we have to pay? 25. How much we have to receive? 5. So how much we can do the settlement? 5,000,
20,000.
right?
5, yes, netting.
Remaining, how much we have to pay?
20,000.
That's it. Anything is fine. Yeah. But there should be transactions. Again, another important point is the netting we can perform within the business unit, not across the business units. Okay. The supplier and customer who is acting same organization should belongs to same business unit. It should not be you have a AP transaction with X corporation in the BU1 with the same X corporation as a customer. You have a transaction the receivables of BU2. It doesn't work. Okay, we cannot perform this netting settlement across the BUs. So there is a limitation within the BU only. This is possible. Yep. Any other questions here, please? No questions. So first we'll complete the setups, then we'll go through the process. Create customer.
Hi, Lakshman, what is the tax implication on this?
So tax implication. See, tax implication means the transaction will include the same amount, right? Okay, only we are creating the receipt and the payment. Whatever the amount you are talking, that will include the tax also, if tax is applicable.
Okay.
Yep, transaction amount with tax or without tax. If you have a tax, yes, it would be part, maybe 4,500 is the item cost and 5,500 is tax amount. Yes, it may include, may not include, everything is fine. Like whatever it may be with tax or without tax, that amount we have to get from that customer, we have to pay that amount to supplier. That is okay. There is no other point based on that as the same process.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we created a customer from the project. Now we can create the customer from here also. We are in the billing workbench. So from here we create a transaction. You can create customer from here also. Create customer. Our customer name is XX Corporation. We are using the reference data set as an enterprise. The site name I am giving as XX. Set address purpose. Bill to is mandatory. If required, you can set ship to also. Map for the ship to, which is a build. Save and close. System defaults. Oracle predefined receivables customer profile class. If it is okay, you can keep as it is, or else you may override. So defaulted. Save and close. Primarily that is required at site level. Done. So customer is ready. We now create supplier. Procurement. suppliers. Task list, create supplier. Save and close. Go to sites. Say exec site. Save it. And select default invoice and payment currency information. You may select check, but by default reality, you make the payment to the supplier through check. Sometimes we may use netting payment method also as a settlement. That we'll see later. Save and close. So we created same organization as a supplier and customer. Done. Now assign netting role to user. Go to security console, tools, security console. The roles, you search for netting. You can notice here, one is the role, netting role, job role. The other one is privilege. If you don't find this role called as netting in any environment, by using this privilege, you create one role, that role you assign to the user. Okay, if you have a role, you assign. Otherwise, by using this privilege, you create one job role, that job role you assign to your user. Now the netting role is available assigned to your user. Save and close. Done. And create netting payment method.
Do
Already
we not need
created.
any data access for this?
Sorry,
Do we not need any data access for this? Data access for our beam?
for this role, this
Yeah.
role no data access. Okay, it will sync with your payables and receivables.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now search for payment methods. Manage payment methods. Create one payment method for netting. And if you go to payables, under payables, this checkbox should be enabled. By default, it should be enabled, but make sure the checkbox is enabled. That's all. That is only the point. We need different payment method. Since it's for netting purpose, netting payment method, which is a dummy payment method. Now create document sequence category. Go Go to global search. Search for document sequence category. Manage document sequence categories. Create. Application is payables. Say Alt INC netting. So module select as a payables. And here provide the table where that document sequence number need to be stored. AP checks all. Here checks information will be stored in this table. So the document number also need to be stored in the same table that you have to specify. Save and close. Now create document sequencing.
Sir, is it not required for AR?
AR not required. AR, we will see that why we are creating also. There is one setup. Okay, we are not going reality, we are not generating the number, just we are setting. If this setup is not there, system won't perform netting. Okay,
Okay, okay.
we will
But we have
assign, one second, we will assign payment method at bank account level. When we assign payment method at bank account level as a default, okay, so
Mhm.
system will look for sequence number also. If setup is not available, first of all, payment document also you cannot assign. To fill the field, we are defining all this.
Okay, okay. And we are entering application and module, right? But reality, these are same, no?
Both are
Always.
same, both are same.
Okay, okay.
Max same. Create sequence. Click on create. Okay, task name is manage document sequences. Alt INC. So netting sequence. Select application as a payables. Module also payables. The type document sequence type is say gapless. What level the document numbering should be generated? Say legal entity level. Start date you can take maybe today's date or past date. And here you assign to that category whatever we created. So Alt INC netting. Alt INC netting. Method automatic start date. Select our legal entity. So we are telling to the system if any transaction is created, any payment is created, the payables within this business, within this legal entity, generate the number automatically. Say save and close. This is a kind of dummy configuration only. This also we are reality not going to generate the number. Okay, but when we create the netting bank account there, it's mandatory we have to fill this document category, which is associated with the sequence. Otherwise, this netting cannot be performed. We'll see that.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
payment method sequence, category sequence, and all common, right? It's not BU specific.
Sequence Can you come again?
I'm saying payment method we created, right? That's a common, right? Not BU specific.
Oh, yes, that is a common, like we are not assigning to any BU, correct? So once you create the payment method, it would be available supplier level or invoice creation type. You may set as a default for specific supplier set. It's not BU specific, correct?
And
It's a
document sequence
global
category
information.
and sequence
Global
will be at
information.
LE level. Okay.
Sorry?
Sequence category and document sequence is at LE level.
LE level you can set ledger level also.
Okay.
Category not, don't say category not, category normally global. When you create the sequence with a combination of sequence and category, you can map at ledger level or legal entity level. Oracle given business unit also, but the functionality they are not at given.
Oh.
Now, create the dummy bank account, which we call as netting bank account. Go to bank accounts. Manage bank accounts. Create. You may create a bank and branch also as a dummy, or else you can use another. Better you can create. Let's create bank also. Manage banks. So Alt INC. Then give the name as netting. Save and close. Select same bank. Click on create branch. Alt INC. Netting. Use any one of the valid routing number. Save and close. Create netting account. Select branch as a netting. Account is Alt INC netting account. Just provide netting account number and bank account we are going to maintain in which currency. And legal entity should be same. We are going to create payables invoice and receivables transaction. Those are created with which BU, those BUs are aligned with which legal entity. The same legal entity you should maintain the bank account also. Alt INC. We want to use this netting bank account or dummy bank account in payables and receivables, because payables netting payment, receivables netting receipt. And reality here we have to use dummy cash account. You can create one cash account as a dummy and that you can select. Check if any dummy you can select. Search with a netting or a dummy. So not available, no issues, you can accept this. Whatever, but make a note, reality we have to use the separate cash account. The name should be dummy. Okay, or netting cash. Account type is asset only, but netting cash. How system will understand this bank account as netting account? We have to tell to the system by enabling this checkbox. This is for netting purpose, not for real payments or not real receipts. Enable netting account. Enable account as netting. Now create. Just say save and close documents. Okay, we have to create, but this browser doesn't support. Okay, at least one view need to be assigned. Just we'll switch to other browser. Go to Firefox. So we created bank and branch. Now we are going to create the bank account.
We just created the account.
We didn't create account. Yes, we entered. But we are not
Okay.
able to save here. If I click on this payment document, it will be stretching like without allowing, it won't allow us to create. That is the reason we are not saving here. Alt INC netting account. Currency is USD. Alt INC US legal entity. You want to use in payables and receivables. Here always use the dummy cash account, netting cash account. Enable as a netting account. Now here create the netting related document. Say netting. Anything you can choose, it's anyway dummy. Say okay. Now assign this bank account to our business unit. Say okay. And notice here also you have to change the account to dummy or netting cash account. Now, so by using this bank account, if you are going to make the payment, automatically system should take the payment method as netting. That we have to add here. Alt INC netting is the payment method. Okay. So by using this netting bank account, if you are making the payment method should be netting. And now it is a mandatory. We have to set payment method as a netting as a mandatory to default from this bank account. But payment document category also mandatory. Without providing this, we cannot save. That is the reason just we created that. System also will have validation. Alt INC netting. Save okay. Save and close. The netting bank account is ready. Okay. How system will understand the bank account as netting? Because we enable the checkbox as a netting. That's how system will understand. System will use this bank account only for netting purpose. It won't allow us to use in the normal payments. Only for netting. If you are dealing with the netting related agreement settlement, if you are going to process, there only it would be useful. We cannot make the normal payments with this netting account.
Lakshman, can you go to business unit axis? We can add multiple BUs there.
Sorry, is it? Yeah, we can assign multiple. One bank account you can assign to multiple business units.
BUs.
But all those BUs should be under same legal entity.
Okay.
Okay. You have LE1, LE2. Under LE1 you have BU1. Under LE2, BU2 you have. Now whatever the bank account you are creating, if you are creating under LE1, that can be assigned to the LE1 related BUs.
Okay.
That is the limitation. That is same as EBS, no change in that. Yeah, EBS R12. But if you talk
Oh,
about 11.8, it was totally different, right? Model is different. But difference between EBS and Fusion is in EBS, when you create bank account, you have to make the legal entity as a owner from the user management. But in the Fusion, by default, every bank account, okay, just whatever the bank account you create, directly you can select legal entity. All the legal entities are owner for bank accounts. They bypass that configuration if you compare with EBS.
okay. Thank you.
We are good with the setups. Okay, now we'll go and create the transaction in AP with the 5,000, AR with the 25,000. Okay, now this browser will not record, close it. Go to payables. Create invoice with the same supplier. The other side will just open the transaction creation page.
Netting class and method we haven't done.
Netting class and
Method
yeah,
we have not set up, right?
Yeah, the last step that you mentioned is part of
yes,
setup.
we did that. That only we did bank account level. Okay, okay. You are talking about method, class and method. Okay, yeah, correct, correct. This we have to complete. Sorry. Yes. Yeah, I thought like netting method and all we assigned at bank account level. Yes, this we have to set up. Yeah, correct. We just go to receipt class and methods. Receipt classes and methods. So we no need to create class and method. Oracle is providing. Okay, Oracle is providing. The same we have to assign to our business unit. That's it. The naming convention starts with or it's a seeded. Okay, we no need to create. Oracle provides. So search with ORA underscore APR netting. This is how the naming convention will start. This is a netting receipt class name. ORA underscore just APR netting. Just open this. So within this receipt class, we have method also. Method name also ORA APR netting. This method we have to assign to our business unit and to our netting bank account. So click on create. We are adding our BU. Select our business unit. Select netting bank account. Alt INC netting. Select netting bank account. So from netting bank account, netting cash account only will be defaulted here. So select any one of the activities here. Say save and close. That's all. This is a setup you have to complete. Okay.
Multiple BUs also we can assign, but it should be under
Yeah.
same
You can
legal
assign.
entity.
Already there you can see few views already assigned, right?
Yes,
can
and
assign.
it should be under same legal entity, right, Lakshman?
Come again.
It should be under same legal entity, the BUs.
BU should be under same legal entity. No, see
As
here.
part of,
No, here the point is different.
okay.
Here what we are doing, we are assigning this netting receipt method to our bank account, our BU and bank accounts. When we go here, you select your business unit, and you select your bank account.
Hmm.
Okay, your business unit can belongs to different legal entity. With that legal entity, what are the bank account is created, that you select accordingly.
Oh,
Here there is no rule. Like when you are assigning the business unit, when you are assigning the bank account to business unit, the rule will be triggered.
okay. From bank setup, it will pick
Yeah,
automatically.
here already bank account is created and assigned to you, right?
Yeah.
Those combinations you can select. Again, you don't need to go for validation here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Assigning time, system will verify. Already you assign means that is only the rule. Already rule is applied. As per rule only you assign. Here combinations you can select.
No. The receipt method and class is common. Under that, we will assign it.
Yes, it's a global. Class is global. Method also global, but assignment is BU specific.
Oh, thank you.
So now we'll create the transactions. So 10,000, 10,000 or 5,000. Go to lines. So we are using the payment terms as immediate, so that today would be the due date. Validate. Approval is required. If approval is required, okay, so it doesn't select into netting. Since approval is required, it won't allow us to select. Go to invoice options. Submit for validation once again. So no approvals are required. Now it's free to select for the payment. It could be netting or any other option. So save and close. Go to receivables. Create transaction with the $25,000. Okay, better close additional tabs. Sometimes it may not support if you have multiple tabs open at a time. I'll click on accounts receivables instead of billing. sure why it is not opening. Some browser issue. Create transaction. Customer name is XX Corporation. Use the payment terms immediate so that today would be due date. We'll perform the settlement today itself. Complete and close. It is the transaction number 1005. Done. Now we have eligible transactions. We have to pay as well as the customer has to pay us. Okay, so the same party. So we have to pay and we have to receive from the same party. Now let's go and create the netting agreement. So we assign netting role to our user. What is impact? When you assign the netting role to our user, it will allow us to access the netting related tasks. You can access from the receivables, accounts, receivable task. And if you click on task pan, here you can see customer and supplier balance netting added. The same you can see from the payables also. It will display two sides, payables and receivables. When you assign the netting role will add these additional tasks in the payment as well as receipt work areas. You can perform this activity from payables or receivables. Okay, so go to manage netting agreements, click on manage netting agreements, and just click on create. Select your legal entity. Alt INC US legal entity. Agreement name. We are creating agreement for XX Corp. So automatically system is taking the netting bank account only. Only netting bank accounts should be available here. No other bank accounts you can choose. Which bank accounts are enabled as netting, those only you can access. Okay. So netting order rule, you may specify like transaction date from oldest to most recent, the due date from oldest to most recent, anything just you can select how you require. And if you are performing the netting for multiple currency related transactions and invoices, you can keep like netting currency rule as a net within the each currency, or else you can select single currency only. The single currency name you have to provide here. If you want to do the netting only for USD related AP invoices and AR transactions. And here you have to specify the criteria. You can give the pay group if you want to give only the invoices. The invoices which are belongs to so and so pay group only it has to select for netting, or else payables invoice types you can specify. Okay. These are like criteria. On the receivable side also, which transaction types it has to select, or else keep as all. If you want to change, you change, or else you can accept as this. Primarily here we have to set trading partners. We want to do the netting between which parties. Our supplier name is XX Corporation. Select supplier site. The customer is XX Corporation. Select site. Fine. So this is how you have to select. You can select at a time multiple parties also. Okay. So ABC supplier, ABC customer, you may have. You can select. It's not like limited to one party, multiple parties you can select here. And go to letters. So generate netting letter. Okay, once you perform this netting, so if you want to generate the netting related report, that you can just enable, and in which language that need to be generated, you select. Okay, American English. That letter, if you want to send to somebody, you can enable send letter by email, and you can give 2 email ID here. The notification will go to that targeted use email ID. Okay, you can specify that selection is not mandatory. Ideally, this you can disable also. Keep this as this, or else you disable and you remove this. Okay, if you want to send, you can set that information. Otherwise, let it be.
Sir, if you're giving multiple trading partners,
Sorry.
so if you're giving multiple trading partners,
Hmm.
how will the system identify that access should go to access and ABC should go to ABC?
Name, right? It will understand. Name will match.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Name it will
Okay.
see. Yeah.
Mhm.
Name only the criteria.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So just
And
click on
how,
save. Yeah.
Lakshman, how does this netting order rule works?
Netting.
Order rule. Transaction date from oldest to most recent. You selected that, right?
No, simple that is. See, oh yeah, I'll explain. See, we saved it. Okay, it created netting batch. Batch name is this. See here. Order. See, transaction. What system will do? It has to pick what it is just talking about. Transaction date from oldest to most recent. It is talking about receivables transactions. Okay. For netting purpose, what it has to consider from receivable side, transaction date from oldest to most recent. Say in receivables with the same customer, you have one transaction with the today date, one transaction with the yesterday date. Which one it has to pick for settlement? First, it has to pick oldest. Okay.
Okay. And can it also pick multiple
It will
at
pick.
the same time?
See, equivalent amount, settlement amount should meet, right?
Yeah, like if there are like multiple, like 5,000, 5,000, and there we have 25,000. So it can pick
You
two
look at the
also, right?
date, which is the most oldest and which is the most recent. Yes, it can pick anything, but first it will pick this. For example, in our current scenario, so we have to pay 5 and customer has to pay 25. Okay, so now what it will do is only one transaction. That transaction it will pick. If you have multiple transaction, it's a priority. Yep. It will go with the priority if you have multiple transactions. The
So
same.
at a time, it will just select one then.
No, at a time multiple it will select. On the fly, it can prioritize. That is the point. At a time, one
So
not.
it can, so Lakshman, what I'm trying to ask, like if there are multiple invoices for the same date, then
Same
it
day.
might pick multiple. But if there are different dates, but
Hmm.
like just a gap of one day, then also can it select multiple?
Got it. Multiple same date means all are eligible. Anyone it can pick.
Yes, but if there are like 2 or 3 transactions with a gap of one days, so can it first select first and then second, and then can it pick
Correct.
multiple
That is
of
the
that?
meaning of this oldest.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
yesterday one first it will select, today one. If still if netting settlement amount can be settled, then it will pick this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's how it is. Now say save and close. We created netting agreement. Now we have to perform the settlement. Okay. Okay. So we created agreement. Now we are going to perform the settlement. Here is the task.
Lakshman,
Stating settlement.
in trading partners, we are adding a supplier and customer, right? If the
Correct.
name is not same, will it perform?
So name it is not same. In that case, still it will do. In that case, don't go with the multiple parties.
Okay.
One you select, it will work.
Okay.
Yeah. Now click on create. Select your legal entity. say specific agreement, XX Corp, whatever we created. Settle without review, set to no. We need review. And transaction due date, the transactions which are belongs to this due date, those only system will pick. You can give additional criteria from and to transaction dates also, accounting date and all this, all we have to accept as this, then say save and create, save and close. Just find out the status of settlement is selected. It's selected invoice and transactions. So you can view, click on download to spreadsheet. Enable editing. Connect. So from receivable side, 1005 transaction selected. From AP side, 2 selected. Ideally 2 we don't need. Earlier it was payment, approvals required. That is the reason we removed and we created. Now I don't need this one, first one. Invoice number 1 we don't need. What I can do, I can say exclude. Double click. It will be excluded. Okay, that will be excluded. Here in that case, you say upload settlement. I'm excluding that. Now only one. I'm just excluding only. I want to do the settlement between these two only. Refresh. Of 5,000. So payables 5,000, receivables 25. That's how we are going to do the netting. Parties same. XX Corporation. Here also XX Corporation. Done. Now you can close this. From here, we are not going to do any action. If you want to update, you can exclude and you can go to netting settlement, click on upload. That's what we can do. Once it's done from here, now refresh. Now go to actions. Okay, go to actions. Say submit settlement. Okay, we reviewed and we did require changes also. Now submit settlement. Now the selected transaction will be settled and those would be cleared also automatically. And it will create payment and receipts in respective applications. Just wait for a moment, it will update the status. See, clearing. Means payment and receipts are created, cleared and settled. Now you can download that spreadsheet also. You can see which payments and which which invoices and which transactions are settled also. Directly you can go to receivables. This will come from payables. Go to payments. Search with XX party. So there should be netting payment. The system automatically created with XX Corporation. Open this, the 5,000. If you look at the payment type is netting. Got reconciled, automatically reconciled. So this is how the system created. Netting payment from the payables. And go to receivables. You'll see netting receipt. customer. Find out. Receipt created with the 5,000. Still in the transaction, 20,000 is outstanding that the customer may pay, or else later we may purchase from the same organization. We may do the settlement later. It could be anything. So this is how system creates. It is using the receipt method as a or a APR netting. Since this is assigned to our business unit, status also cleared. Since these are not real transaction, directly those would be cleared. No settlement, no reconciliation, etc. And if you go to payables, you can see that invoice is already paid, and receivables also we have seen still outstanding is 20. So this is all about APR netting concept. Okay, limitation is within the BU you can do. Across the BUs it is not possible. Party may be same, supplier customers may be same, but you cannot do across. So that's all about netting concept. Okay. So if you have any questions, please stay back. We are done for today.